So in the security guard business, some of the clients think that if you bill out $25 an hour and you're paying 15, you're making 10. But the reality of the situation, you got cost after cost after cost. So when you don't get paid, you got two options. You can file a lawsuit or you get aggressive. There's a philosophy in business, cash flow. Cash flow is absolutely everything. Without money, you have nothing. So in the security guard business, some of the clients think that if you bill out $25 an hour and you're paying 15, you're making 10. But the reality of the situation, you got payroll taxes, which is FICA, FUTA, SUTA, workman's comp, general liability, paid time off cost. You've got uniform cost. Cost after cost after cost. When it's all said and done, a guard business might make 60 to 80 cents an hour when you have $10 left over. That's a fact. So unfortunately, of the business you do in revenue, probably 30 or 35% of it is in short-term work. Short-term work defined as jobs that will last less than a year. It could be a temporary need because of an emergency situation. It could be because of a construction, it could be because of fire, it could be because of whatever. And historically, short-term jobs don't pay. So a lot of the bigger companies require prepayment, but I always felt that we'll extend credit, provided they can pass the credit check background, which is minimal. So typically, short-term customers are required to pay within 7 days of the invoice. Well, there's always a few. 98% of all customers pay their bills, and they pay their bills on time. But that 2-3% will just lie to you, continue using your services, and just don't care if you sue them, because especially in Wayne County, it's changed a little bit. They have a new business court set up, so things move around a little bit quicker than they did a few years ago when you got caught up in the system. So if you didn't pay me, it may take 2 to 5 years to get a court date. And then along the way, they can play games with delaying it and filing frivolous motions or whatever. They say that the big three, Allied, Garda-World, and Securitas, are the biggest companies in the world. What separates one from the smallest guy is billions and billions of dollars. But they only make up about 11 to 13% of the total business available. So 87% of the business that's out there is serviced by small mom and pop companies. There's an old saying in the cleaning business, anybody can pick a mop bucket up and get into the cleaning business. Well, in the guard business, anybody can get a license, can get into the guard business. And there's so many, I call them pieces of shit companies. They don't pay payroll tax. They 1099 people, whack jobs, hack jobs. Because there's so many of them, customers look for those mom and pop companies that can't come after them. They don't have any money for legal fees, and they know that they're doing things dirty, and they screw them. Well, sometimes companies like the ones I had, they misjudged us. So when you don't get paid, you got two options. You can file a lawsuit, which costs you money, or you get aggressive. So I've always been the mind is we shake hands. And there was a couple instances I talk about in the book where a couple businesses just didn't pay us. One was a hotel. And this piece of shit hotel with high profile, I don't recall if I said the name or not, but it doesn't matter for the sake of this video. Went down seeing the general manager. He lied again. He owed us maybe $100,000. He just lied again. Walking out, I was kind of unhappy. So what did I do? Walk into the bathroom and literally find a way to rip their urinals off the wall and flood the hotel. I never got paid, but they took my money and did the repairs. Some people look at that as maybe I should have done that, but you're probably right. Another one comes to the top of my mind is a restaurant in town, another bullshit place, Slowe's Barbecue. And it's this piece of shit. I mean, obviously people will come to Detroit for Slowe's Barbecue. Well, that's an opinion. I personally think Slowe's is horrible food, horrible service, and I personally think that the city, they use the city, they get the tourism, and I'm sure they're a viable business. Well, this piece of shit that owned the place didn't pay us. So I go in there, went in the place to eat and get paid. That's what I was told. Well, this piece of moron shit didn't have the balls come to the table, even see me. He just didn't pay us, nothing. So I thought, well, it was only a few $1,000s. So I thought for a second, like, you know what? I don't want to waste my time trying to get this money anymore, so let's just slice this booth up. It wasn't even my idea, it was somebody else's. So they did. Just sliced the booths up, caused a few $1,000s in damage, and I'm sure they fixed their booths and we never got our money. Call it even, I guess. We had this hotel over an 8 Mile in Greenfield. I was busted by the FBI because it ended up being a bad ring of whatever they had going on there. And the guy wouldn't pay his bill, so we shot the pop machines up. It was funny. I mean, you wouldn't be able to shoot in Detroit today, you get arrested, but in those days, we're walking out and there's nothing there, but we knew we owned the vending machines. Well, we say, fuck him too. Bad way of doing business? Yeah. Proud of it? Today that wouldn't happen. There'd be 47 videotapes and 14 cell phones, and the Detroit police would be up our ass so quick, so fast. But times were different. Like I said, 98% of the customers are great. I mean, obviously you don't do stupid shit, but these are just bullshit customers that use guard companies. I'm not the first. They fuck them over, they don't pay, and that's what they do. And then they put themselves out there like there's some great, restaurant or whatever they are, and they scam people and they scam businesses like us. And who knows how many people they bankrupt over the years? Did they pay their cleaning supply company? Did they pay the roofing company? Did they pay their security company? No. In the real world, I wouldn't go to a large office building and do anything stupid or like that. You handle things professionally. But in most cases, reputable people and reputable companies have conversations and they pay their bills. It's that 2% that just use companies and beat them up. Where I learned I want to call it gangster approach was I worked for corporate America, Burns International. My mentor, Sam King, and I went to collect money. When the guy didn't want to pay Sam takes a service revolver and lays it on the desk. I would never do something that stupid, but Sam did, and he got a check. So that kind of drives the personality. I mean, that was probably 1989, 1988. Times are a whole lot different now. That was the way corporate America collected their money, or at least Sam did, and it worked. That's kind of where you learn from your teachers. That's how I entered the business. That's what they taught me. I learned to calm down as years went on. Don't be so aggressive. It's not worth it.